Think back to one summer when you were a kid. A single summer. It felt like it lasted a year. Now think about this past year. It was gone before you finished noticing it had started. Same amount of time, same number of days. So why did one feel endless and the other feel like nothing? This isn't your imagination, and the reason is stranger than just getting older. Almost everyone feels it. Somewhere in your 20s, the calendar quietly speeds up. The summers stop stretching. Birthdays start arriving before you've put away the last one. People in their 40s describe entire years passing like a long weekend. And the older you get, the worse it gets. It's one of the most universal human experiences there is. And for most of history, nobody could explain it. You know the feeling. You catch yourself saying it's already October. You make plans for next year, and next year is suddenly this one. It creeps up so gradually that most people never stop to ask whether something real is happening to them. Something real is. The easy answer is the one everyone reaches for. You're busier now. As a kid, you had nothing to do, so time crawled. As an adult, you're buried in work, bills, kids, responsibilities. So the days blur together and the years vanish. It sounds right. It feels right. It's also not the answer. Because if busyness were the cause, the people with the emptiest schedules would feel time pass the slowest. They don't. Retirees with nothing on the calendar report the years flying by just as fast. Often faster. Bored people and overwhelmed people land in the same place. Whatever is speeding up your life, it isn't your to-do list. It's something underneath it. Over a century ago, a French philosopher named Paul Janet put his finger on part of it. His idea was almost insultingly simple. Each year of your life is measured against all the years that came before it. When you're 5 years old, 1 year is a full fifth of everything you have ever experienced. It's enormous. It's 20% of your entire existence. But when you're 50, that same year is just 1/50th of your life. The same 365 days, 1/10 of the weight. Think of it like pouring a cup of water. Into a small glass, 1 cup changes everything. It fills the thing up. Into a bathtub, the same cup barely registers. Your life is the container, and it only ever gets bigger. So every year you add lands lighter than the one before. By this math, the true halfway point of your felt life. Read that again. If Janet was right, most of the life you will ever feel has already happened by the time you finish high school. But proportion is only half of it. The other half is happening inside your memory. Your brain does not record time evenly. It records change, new faces, new places, first times. The brain flags all of it as important and writes it down in high resolution. Routine, it barely bothers with. Why waste storage on another identical Tuesday? Call it memory density. Childhood is wall-to-wall firsts. Your first day of school. Your first friend. Your first heartbreak. The first time you saw the ocean. Every week is crowded with things your brain has never seen before, so every week gets recorded in detail. Look back, and those years are thick with memory. They feel long, because in your head they are. Adulthood is the opposite. You wake up in the same bed, drive the same route, do the same job, see the same faces. Your brain, efficient as ever, stops taking notes. A whole month of routine can compress down to almost nothing. A thin smear of sameness with nothing to hold on to. This is why a single packed week of travel can feel longer in memory than the 3 quiet months that followed it. Less time, more life. Try it right now. Picture last Tuesday. For most people, there's almost nothing there. A blank where a day used to be. Now picture the first day of a trip you took, even years ago. You can probably still see the room you woke up in. That gap is memory density. It's also why time feels like it's accelerating. You're not losing days. You're losing the memories that made days feel like anything at all. And there may be something even more physical going on. In 2019, a Duke University engineer named Adrian Bejan proposed that as we age, the brain processes images more slowly. As a child, your mind takes in more mental snapshots per second. The world arrives faster, in more frames. As the brain's networks grow and age, that frame rate drops. Fewer images per second means fewer markers of time passing, so a fixed stretch of clock time feels shorter. The clock didn't speed up. Your shutter slowed down. And here is the uncomfortable part, the part that turns this from a curiosity into something heavier. If novelty is what stretches time, then the things we spend our whole adult lives chasing, stability, comfort, Routine, a life with no surprises, are exactly the things that make it disappear. We build a safe, predictable existence. And in exchange, that existence quietly compresses. The more your years look like each other, the fewer of them your brain bothers to keep. You can live a long life and remember almost none of it. Picture two people, both with one identical year ahead of them. The first spends it the way most of us spend our years. Same commute, same screens, same weekends bleeding into each other. The second spends it saying yes to things. New cities, new people, things that scared them a little. On the clock, they get exactly the same amount of time. But the second person, looking back, will have lived something that feels like years. The first will have lived something that feels like a long, forgettable week. Same 365 days. Wildly different lives. Comfort doesn't kill time. It just stops you from noticing you had any. But, unlike Janet's math, this part isn't fixed. The proportion you can't change, you can't make yourself young again. The memory density, you can. Every first you give yourself rewrites the brain back into high resolution. A new route home, a skill you're bad at, a place you've never been, a conversation with a stranger. Novelty is the one thing that thickens time back up, and it's available at any age for free, starting today. The brain that records nothing when nothing changes will record everything the moment you give it something new. You cannot add a single day to your life, but you can make the days you already have refuse to blur into one another. And that, in the only way that matters to the person living it, is the same thing as making life longer. So the next time a year vanishes behind you, know that the clock never moved. A second is still a second. A year is still a year. What changed was you, the size of your container, the density of your record, the speed of your own perception. The summer of your childhood didn't actually last longer. You were just awake for more of it. The time is still there. The only question is how much of it you'll let yourself feel.